Today we are talking about sleep. So I'm continuing Self-Care September, and today's topic is sleep. And I'm going to announce the giveaway winner of Tired of Being Tired. Got that right here. I'm going to announce that at the end, but I'm going to start by talking about how you might be experiencing sleep problems. And I'm going to really focus on, like, the thing that I hear the most is not going to bed when I said I'm going to go to bed or when I want to go to bed. Like, not going to bed on time. That is like the number one problem that I hear. And what ways that might be showing up for you is, like, firstly, you go to bed feeling bad that you have stayed up once again. And then in the morning, you have the regret like twice over because you are feeling the after effects where you're feeling tired. And you're like, why did I do that again to myself? And some of the reasons why people tell me that they are having trouble going to bed on time, they might be doom scrolling. So maybe they even, like, maybe this is you. Maybe you get into bed and you're like in bed, but you're on your phone scrolling. So it's like, I'm this close to going to sleep, but I'm stuck in this scrolling cycle. Or maybe you're like, oh, I'm reading this book and just one more chapter. Or maybe you're doing stuff that feels very productive, or that is productive and useful and helpful, but it's like, I can't go to bed unless I have done XYZ, unless the kitchen is tidy, unless I finish doing this. I just have to do one more thing on my to-do list because this is my only chance to get this done. And what you may have tried so far to get yourself to go to bed when you want to go to bed, maybe you think, I have to just be like really hard on myself. I need to give myself some tough love because apparently I'm just lazy or I'm just too attached to my phone. And so I have to, like, be brutally honest with myself. And then that will force me to go to bed earlier. How many times has that actually worked? Or maybe you're like, I just have to find, like, there's some right evening routine out there. When I find the perfect formula, then I will go to bed. Or is there anything else? Or maybe you have kids and you're like, I just can't sleep, but, like, I'll be able to sleep when the kids go to bed better or when they sleep through the night better. Like, that is the problem. And if that is you, I hear you. But here's what I think is, like, the real root cause of this particular problem. So there's a name for it, and I don't know if you've heard it, but revenge bedtime procrastination, or revenge bedtime productivity. So revenge bedtime procrastination is all of your scrolling or just I'll watch one more episode and just keep endlessly pushing back bedtime. Or if you are cranking through your to-do list, feeling like, no, I've just got to do one more thing, can't afford to go to sleep yet. And I've thought a lot about this, and I think that the name is really fascinating. Revenge bedtime procrastination or productivity. And I think it hits at the heart of what is really happening, which is you've got this kind of interior relationship with yourself where there's a breakdown in self-trust. So you kind of need to take revenge. So let's take the procrastination one first. If you're like, I just have to read a little bit more, watch one more episode, keep scrolling a little bit longer, there's, I think, some part of you that is desperate for some me time, that has needs that have not been met. Maybe it's difficult emotions that are unprocessed. maybe it's just like quiet and silence, like whatever it is, there are just some unmet needs that are screaming at you for attention, and you get to the end of the day and your whole being is just like, attend to me, meet these needs. And so you're kind of taking revenge on your past self for not paying attention to your needs, for not taking care of your needs, or putting things off, or and that's where maybe the productivity side comes in as well, where it's like I had unrealistic expectations of myself, or maybe I procrastinated earlier in the day, and so now I need to make up for that. And there's this like and then when we add on top of that this feeling of I need to be really mean to myself if I don't show up the way that I want to, that is also eroding self-trust, and it kind of creates this lack of safety for you to learn from your mistakes. And so really what's happening is there's the decider in you and the doer in you, and the decider is making not great decisions as to what the doer is supposed to do, and then the doer at the end of the day is like rebelling against the decider, and then the decider's like, well, now I need to like come back even harder and harsher to make up for it. And there's this like, you kind of feel like you're fighting with yourself. And the reason why, one of the reasons why this is not helpful, firstly, like sleep is supposed to be restful and restorative, and you need to like relax when you go to sleep. And so you're not really like, it's not the best feeling to like go to bed and feel like I'm at war with myself. Like you want to go peacefully off to sleep, not feeling like you're at war. And then another problem with this is that you're focusing a lot of attention on all of the things that you don't want to be happening, and all of the problems with yourself or the actions you're taking. And when we like what we focus on grows, what we pay attention to grows. And so if you're paying a lot of attention to things that you don't love, actions you don't want to take, that's actually what you're going to keep creating more of. See the last live I did for more on how your self-talk as self-care, but this is like, it's just going to come back into everything. And so ultimately what is happening is you just have like missing skills for navigating your interior landscape, your fallen human nature. Like after the fall, what has happened is our intellect and our will and our emotions are supposed to all be like integrated and work together well as a unified whole. But the fall kind of disintegrated everything. And so we have this feeling of fighting with ourselves if we don't know how to navigate that well and how to bring things back together. And so that is what the thing is you actually want to solve. It's not about you can come up with the perfect evening routine. You can decide what time you want to go to bed. You can try many strategies. You can put your phone in another room, but ultimately you still have to bring yourself to that plan, to the follow through. And if you're bringing yourself with the exact same decision-making process and the exact same desires without changing the way that it's all working internally, you're going to find other ways to sabotage yourself and your sleep. So I like to say time management is an inside job, and that applies to anything that we do with our time. So self-care is an inside job, and then specifically sleep is an inside job. So this, like, as I said, we want to take what has been disintegrated and we want to like form it back together. That is what formation does, whether it's human formation or spiritual formation. And so, like, if your sleep is a problem, it's just like one symptom of all of this stuff going on under the surface. And so I'm just going to like what I do with my clients in my signature fiat method is we master the skills of stewarding your intellect, your will, and your emotions. And like bringing them, like you want to bring the full force of your humanity integrated the way that God designed it and intended it, animated by grace. You want to bring that to every task that you do, every minute of your day. You want to bring like the full force of your being to it. That is how you become unstoppable. And I just have everything working together and firing the way that it's supposed to. And when we do that, it becomes like, if it sounds like it would be easier to do good, or like to make the decisions you want to make and accomplish the things you want to accomplish, like that is because that is what happens. And that is what virtue is. Virtue is doing the good with ease. So if we break it down into 4 steps, if you want to have better sleep, this is what you want to do. You want to cultivate, firstly, an inner best friend mindset, which involves putting your brain, like you want to put your brain to work for you rather than having it work against you. And that's going to create a relationship with yourself where there is more self-trust and you feel more at home in yourself. And we kind of take away a big chunk of all of that interior drama and friction. And like the resentment and feeling like I need to take revenge on my past self for the ways that I didn't take care of myself earlier in the day. Then you also want to create a really compelling vision of why you want to go to bed, and create that vision with God and like engage with him and be like, what is your vision of rest and restoration, Lord? And take that on, because that's going to be a big part of like how you make going to bed at whatever time, let's say 9 p.m., how you make that more desirable. Like, let me rephrase that. You want to make it more desirable than doom scrolling or whatever the other thing is that you keep choosing to do. As long as that other thing is more desirable, or like getting 5 more things off your to-do list, as long as that is more desirable than going to bed at 9 p.m., you're going to keep choosing that thing and you're not going to choose the going to bed. So you have to make that really compelling. Then you want to decide on a time, decide on a plan, because you want to minimize the opportunities for your brain to negotiate on how it's going to play out. Because the more opportunities for negotiation there are, the more opportunities there are for your brain to take you in another direction that you don't want to go in. And finally, you want to change your relationship with fear and failure, because as long as you create this really painful regret story afterwards, either when you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning when you're tired, that is closing you off from like figuring it out, from learning from the mistakes. It just shuts down the part of you that has any possibility of being open to learning and hearing maybe what God wants to say about it. And it just keeps you stuck in the same place. So you want to change your relationship with fear and failure. And when you follow this process, you will get more sleep, which will feel delightful. And you know, all of the benefits that come with having more sleep. And just feeling more well rested, and you are emotionally more resilient, which means you can carry your crosses and trials with more peace and joy. You're more pleasant to be around with your loved ones, and you can go about your day with less regret. When you at the end of the day, you have to go to bed with yourself. Like, put your head on the pillow, and then it's like me with myself. And we want to end the day like, what would it be like to end the day with victory, not with defeat, not with your last thought being, I can't believe I stayed up again. I can't believe I did that to myself. What if you ended the day with this feeling of victory? Like, I can do what I say I'm going to do. Best feeling. And what else? You, like, when you have more sleep, you have better mental clarity, more energy. You can make better decisions, faster decisions, get things done more efficiently. You'll get more done throughout the day. Then there's less to do at nighttime. You'll like make better self-care decisions. So you'll not be feeling so desperate for your needs to be met. And it just becomes this, rather than a vicious cycle, we have a virtuous cycle going on. And ultimately, like, yes, the sleep is important, but ultimately, like, really you're becoming a woman who has more self-trust, more trust in God, who can make bolder decisions, take bolder risks, and give a like faster, more freer yes to God when he calls you to do something. Which is, that's the name of the game. That's what we want. We want to be saints who just give our fiat to our Lord whenever he asks, with very little resistance and friction. So this is like a small taste, like a little window into what my Catholic Time Mastery one-on-one coaching can help you create. But it's just such an incredibly powerful framework that will absolutely change the way that you approach your entire life. And I don't have time here to walk through every single thing. We've just walked through one very specific scenario, but I would love to talk you through what that would look like for your life specifically and your circumstances. So the best way for us to do that is I do 60-minute consultations. So, and they're totally free. So if you would like to get one of those set up, send me a DM and I'll get you on my calendar as soon as possible. And so you can just get stuck into mastering your time by mastering yourself, which is really what we're doing. And like the lifelong journey to holiness, it's an apprenticeship in self-mastery. So that's something that we're always working on. So I hope that this was helpful. And I'm also going to announce the winner of Tired of Being Tired, and that is Journey of a Homemaker. Congratulations. You have won a copy of Tired of Being Tired. That will be on the way to you very soon. And I would love to hear if you have any questions, takeaways, and God bless. See you next week I should announce what the next week is. Next week is Silence, Self-Care Through Silence, and the book giveaway is going to be Time for God by Father Jacques Philippe, who is just one of my all-time favorite authors. So I'm excited to talk about that one next week. So I will see you then, and God bless. Bye.